Hello everybody, hey, it's Angel Medina with this week's edition of the Highway Nation podcast. So I hope everybody enjoyed the 4th of July. I hope you guys had a safe holiday, you enjoyed it with your family, festivities, and you got to enjoy and rejoice today that we got our independence from the British. This week, it's a bit of an abbreviated podcast since we have two book reviews, one for me name and one for me. So we're going to be reviewing Trespass by Stephen Edger, and that's the book review by Ine, and I'll be reviewing Flag 2, which is the second book of the Flag series, which is my second knit RPG read by Zachary Draconis, and like I said, if I mispronounce your name, sorry about that. So, making sure he's good. So a few announcements. First, Bernard Jan, one of my colleague in Croatia, is enjoying some success with this book, A World About Color, and that's on Amazon right now for sale for $9.99. And and you can support him, and he's already got a couple of good reviews, and it's doing decently. So congrats, Bernard, and I hope you're doing good in Sweden, visiting your friends up there. And I got a couple of announcements on my own. First, Angel's Nightmare Adventure 1 is free for today and tomorrow. So if you can't get it today, you can get it tomorrow for free. And I'll put the link of that book on the description as well. And then you could get and once you're done with that, you could get the sequel, Angel's Nightmare Adventure 2, The Nightmare Continues, which is already gotten 3 5-star ratings to begin this journey. And that's only 99 cents. Stretch my neck here. So you got a couple of great horror reads, to enjoy for the weekend. Now if you're a sci-fi freak, I got some good news too. Revenge of the Grubers, the third book of the 1000 Years War series, is free. That's right, it is free for today only though, so you have to hurry. You still got plenty of time though until the free offer ends, so it's for today only. And then the other two books, 1000 Years War Book 1 and Freeing, the second book of the 1000 Years War series, are only 99 cents each. And even if you do miss out on the freebie, which is Book 3, Revenge of the Grubers, you can still get all 3 books for 99 cents each. But today, you can get all 3 books for only $2. Yes, $2 for 3 books. Tomorrow will be up to back to $3 for the 3 books, which is still an awesome offer, which is still something I say you should go after. So without further ado, let's jump right into the reviews here, starting with Trespass by Stephen Edger, reviewed by Elaine Ebrick. So in 1989, a woman named Beth Roper was brutally assaulted by an intruder in front of her 4-year-old daughter. So following her mother's death, a now adult Norman, which was the daughter of the woman who was killed and raped, is still haunted by the events. But the accused rapist is in jail. But then eventually he's killed in jail, and then she recognizes the eyes of the monster who dominated her nightmares. So desperate to find justice for her mother can never find, she approaches a private investigator called Johnson Jermichael, and he demands that he takes his case. But Johnson sees no evidence, no witnesses, and only the fragile memory of no one to work with. He doesn't want the case. But then when he begins to ask questions and his life becomes, in danger, he learns more that there's more to the case than just murder woman back in 1989. So this book is about fear, murder, revenge, and suspense. Trespass is a gritty British thriller examining the horrifying effects of sexual assault. So let's take a quick look at the characters here. Johnson Jermichael is a private investigator looking into a rape case back in 1989. Nathan Green was the one who accused of doing the crime, was on trial for the sexual assault of 2 women and the murder of a 3rd woman. Norman Roper is the daughter of Beth Roper, the one who was killed. And then Sarah Henrich was the first victim. Cantania was the second victim, and then you have a woman named Patricia who was raped and murdered as well. And then of course you got Carmichael's assistant, whose name is Melissa, and she's the assistant to his cases. So you kind of got an idea what the plot is, but let's go a little deeper to it. So the story opens, obviously, 1989. Beth is killed. Norman wants justice. So and then the man ends up in prison for 20 years, but then he hears that there was a contract out to kill him. So a wire broke out in jail, and then to make the long story short, Nathan is killed. But who was hired to kill him, and was the murderer contracted to kill him, or was it just something he wanted to do on his own? So to make the long story short, it's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of backstories. It's a book you really have to study, carefully to really understand. So obviously the writing structure for Elaine felt was that she loves the backstory of the main characters. It gave her a better sense of who they are and what they've been through. And then there's a lot of detail in the book. So if you like backstories, you might, if you don't want to just beginning to end book like that, then this is the book for you. If you like thrillers, one that gets into the details really carefully. So let's give you a little bit of the ending. Let's give you an idea of how it ends. According to Elaine, the ending was brilliant. This was so many twists and turns. A man named Stan contracted, Johnson, and he told him that Nathan did not rape Beth, and then he threatened him. After meeting with Stan, Carmichael was on his way to see Norman, to give her an update on the investigation, and what he finds out is shocking. Continue to investigate, talking to Nathan Green's brother and father. Eventually he finds out who did it, and that's the one part we're not going to reveal to you. You just have to read the book for yourself. But all I can tell you is this book earned a 5 out of 5, a perfect 5 on the hibernation scale. And this is the first book in the Johnson Carmichael series. And she loves the characters, the plot. The main character is a no-nonsense guy, and he does what he does to get to the truth. And it was so good that Elaine went on to buy the second book. So good job, Stephen Edger. Anybody could get Elaine to buy the book right after. It's a pretty capable writer. So we should be seeing another review for your second book rather soon. So that was Trespass by Stephen Edger. So if you wanna get the book, I'll give you the link to the review, and then you can look it up on Amazon and get yourself a nice thriller for your weekend read. So next review is my Knit RPG read, which is Frag 2 by Sakura Draconis, and that was reviewed by me. Frag 2 is the second book in the Frag series, and if you were listening to last week's podcast where you looked at a review of book 1, you'll have an idea what the story is about. So I had the pleasure of reading issue 1, and it turns out that this is going to be a serial series, so it's going to have a new issue coming out every month. So even though it's a short burst of reading, but it's going to be out every month. Instead of writing a full novel, he's going to come out with something new every month. So that's kind of a cool thing to do. So after I read issue 1, I loved it. I quickly got issue 2, excuse me. Issue 3 will be next month. I'm looking forward to that. And I finally got some time to read the entire thing, and love to get my thoughts about it. So did the second book impress me? Well, before I get to that, I'll once again thank Zach for letting me join the Knit RPG Rebel group on Facebook, which is a group on Facebook that obviously specializes in Knit RPG, science fiction, and video games. And personally, I'm having fun in this group, sharing my work and thoughts about the genre. And if you got the time and you're into Knit RPG, video games, or science fiction, you should really check them out, look them up. Knit RPG Rebels. And it's a growing group. We got a couple of new members in the group today as well. So, you know what? Enough chit chat. On to the review. We go. Obviously, this is going to be on a bit of a different scale. It won't be stars. It'll be what they call a power score out of 100. So obviously, the closer to 100, the better. So first, we're going to start with RPG gaming elements. The first book I gave it a 95. This one I gave it a 97. Close to perfect. This book, this second issue, builds more upon the gaming system on the MMO, and the system messages are even funnier. I found the system messages to be even funnier, and you know, and I hope he keeps it up. I hope he keeps up the system. You know, that theme. You know, don't give up that theme. I think you really got something going good. You know, Sack. And some of them are just outright insulting to any player who is super sensitive. So if you're a very sensitive person, then you might not want to read this book. But if you're everyone else, then it's all fair game. I mean, and I start to get the feeling that this game is actually against the MC, the main character. That this book is, you know, the game wants the main character to lose. He doesn't want him. It always roots against him. It always finds the ways to insult, you know, Zoe, who's the main character, and whatever she picks up and does. And of course, you got the debut of new items, which is why I expected to find the second issue. I expected to find new weapons, new items, new pickups. You know, just like in any expansion to any game. And I'm sure the expansion of items will continue on to the third issue. Story? For the first time, I gave it a perfect 100 on the story. I gave this a perfect 100 as the plot becomes clearer and the action really picks up in this issue. So if you were kind of a little bit disappointed on the first issue not having enough action, this one is going to really make it up. Zoe becomes aggressive as her primal instincts begin to kick in, and the health system finally gets reviewed, enhancing the story. Without spoiling too much of it, there's a group that's considered to be bullies, and we will pick on any player who dares to get too close to them. And for me, it should be interesting on how the story arc evolves in future issues. And when it comes to predictions, I really don't have any right now, to be honest. I really don't know what's going to happen next. I can only wait and assume. Dialogue, still only no end. I gave it a 90, gave it a A- on dialogue. For me, the dialogue is improved, but there is still much ranting going on. But then I understand that this is probably going to be the tone of the series from here on out. So I think I better get used to it, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of emotional moments, which is why I'm really looking forward to some of those more emotional moments. You know, I hope he really does, you know, put some emotional moments in future issues as the series presses on. Overall, the power score got a 95 out of 100, which is equivalent to an A book. Zack has done a few things differently that made this read even more enjoyable, and it gets me even more pumped up for the next issue. So after taking the average of the three scores is how I come up with the score of 95 out of 100. So excellent work. You know, still looking for that emotional moment. That's the only thing that's giving you that perfect 100. I want that emotional moment, but I'm sure he's just teasing me right now. And if you go to the end of the review, you'll see the button to buy now on Amazon, so you can get the book on Amazon as well once you're done reading my review of the book. So that's the review of Flag 2 by Zachary. And you know, we've really become really good friends. Even though he lives in Australia, I live here in Puerto Rico. You know, really enjoy his company. I really enjoy being in that group. You know, cool people. So once again, recap. Angel's Nightmare Adventure. Book 1 is free today and tomorrow. And you could get the sequel for 99 cents once you're done with book 1. Revenge of the Goobers, which is the third book of the Thousand Years War series, is free for today only. Then book 1 and 2 in the Thousand Years War series are only 99 cents each. After today, you can get all 3 books for only, get this, $3. But today you can get it for $2, all 3 books for only $2. So, you know, you got some good deals for the weekend. So I hope you got some plans to read over the weekend, and hopefully you get my books a chance and you'll be in for quite the adventure. We're running on 15 minutes, so I think this is going to do it for the Hybrid Nation podcast. If you got any topics you want me to discuss on future shows, please comment and leave your comments and see what I can do to improve. So, and I also thinking of possibly separating my real book, my actual book reviews, you know, on Fridays, and do the lit RPG reviews on another days, just to avoid confusion, and to give, you know, lit RPG the mother that serves by giving it its own, you know, separate podcast. But that's in the future right now. Right now I'm kind of satisfied with what I'm doing right now. So this has been the Hibernation Podcast, July 7th. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hope you guys are safe, and I'll catch you next week. Hopefully with some more book reviews and recommendations. Take it easy, guys. One love.